Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jessie from Vintage Studio 717, and today I'm going to do a craft with me video, and it's going to be one of the challenges that Roxy Creations put out last week with making tags out of old book pages. And I don't know if her challenge, this is my very first challenge, so I don't know if her challenge was to use vellum or not, or if that's just what she had on hand, but it inspired me to print some of my printables that I'm working on right now on vellum and just see how they looked. And I really love how they turned out. So last week I showed the paper that I have designed. This week I started to design or kind of compile some other Art Nouveau items. And so again, all of these are in the public domain. They're probably hard to see, but this is just some of the things I've been working on that will be available in my shop either when this video comes out or soon after. So yeah, these are all things in the public domain that I've just kind of cleaned up and edited. These beautiful ladies. It's on vellum, so they're not as sharp and clear, but these are mucha, I think, mucha. So sorry if I completely missed that pronunciation, but he did a series of these beautiful Art Nouveau women, and so I've taken those and cleaned them up, and I'm going to include those in, I don't know if it's really going to be a kit, but maybe just more pages, embellishment pages that you can cut out. So Roxy Creations challenge was to make a tag, and I'm going to use that as probably a bookmark in my bullet journal. And the challenge was to take a book page, which I have here, which is an old page from the Swiss Family Robinson book, which I read when I was a kid. And this was written I think in the early 1800s. So it's just about, apparently it was a family-friendly rendition of Robinson Crusoe. And so it's just about a family that gets shipwrecked on this island and how they survive. And I just found it fascinating. So I am going to use a page from that, and I'm going to put it on, back it on an old grocery bag. I just love the feel of grocery bag paper, and I think I'm gonna see how just one layer feels, like in terms of strength and thickness. So I'm just gonna cut all the edges off. But yeah, grocery bags are super fun to repurpose. I know lots of people make journals out of them. And I like the texture, I like the way they sound. And the color, I think, coordinates nicely with the book pages. All right. Okay, so now we have, let's see if we put, not very stiff, but it would make, since I just want it to be a bookmark, it would make a nice bookmark page. And I like the raw edge of the book. I want to keep that in. So, okay. I'm also, I don't know if there's a word for it, but straight line challenged, cutting challenged. Probably what I should do is glue it and then cut it out, huh? That's probably it's a better plan. Okay, we'll try that. Let's see. Is there a different? Ooh, I kind of want the name of the book on the top, I think. It's such a classic. I don't know if anyone else. Comment below if you read that book when you were a kid. I think there's several versions of it, like there's the unabridged, and then there's oof, my glue is getting a little bit clumpy. Is that a word? But anyway, there's several versions of it. The unabridged, which I actually read. It's really long. And then there's some junior. I think in the 60s or 50s, there was a lot of like junior editions to books, to classics for kids. And that was, I think I read that one as well. Okay. So for those of you who are not part of the junk journaling world, this is a fun project to do just with anything you have around the house. And that's kind of one of the things I love about junk journaling, is that there's it's using what you have and being creative with it. Okay, so take a piece of paper from a garbage bag. Sometimes I use it for my recycling bags. Take a piece of paper from a grocery sack and just do some gluing, collage some stuff together. Take anything that's fun to kind of get into found items, say in your recycling, and do a little collage just with the colors and words that you like. So, all right, so there. And I just really like the back of that. We'll see. I think it's a nice contrast with these bright colors of the Art Nouveau. So let's see. I think I showed already that this is when it's printed on paper, some of the images, and then this is vellum. It's a little big. It's so cool how the words show through. And here's some of the ladies. That's cool too. All right, and then I'm going to include, this is all the paper that I printed, but I'm going to include one page that just has a strip of each piece, and it looks, that's what I did, and then printed it on vellum, and it's just so pretty. I think maybe, let's see, I don't want to cover up the fun edge. Maybe this, a little, this part can feel sometimes fun, sometimes a little overwhelming, right? Because you have to make a decision and it's hard to know what to do. I like the blue. And then you watch the experienced crafters and they've developed their eye. So I think that's just something to remember for those of us that are starting out or kind of new to this. That you develop an eye. It's a skill. That's really pretty. It's a skill that you develop, right? Learning how to, all in purple, learning how to combine things. But I think one of the best ways to develop any skill is just to do it. And kind of go with what you like. And sometimes I think it can feel hard to know, like, do I like that? I'm excited about this quote. It's from Arthur Ashe, and he was an African-American tennis player, and he won, I think, the US Open and Wimbledon, and was the #1 ranked tennis player. So this quote is, "Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can." And I just think this is such an important thought to remember at any time, but especially right now when things feel a little overwhelming in the world. And it's easy to get really sucked into social media comparisons and, you know, just this idea of like, I need to have this, and if I only had this thing, then I would, you know, be able to do this better. And so I think it's just important to remember, right, that we can just start where we are. We learn and grow. Practice makes things easier. The more we do it, the more comfortable we are. So that's been my motto for this year so far. And this quote is one that I'm gonna, I think, print out a lot and use a lot, because I think it's just a good reminder. And, you know, especially I think for me, oh, look at me. See, like, look at that, like totally off screen. Yeah. I will say, oh goodness. So yes, so I was just off screen there for a bit. I will say that I have already done this video once, and just, it's new. I haven't done this a lot, especially the whole crafting part. And I was just laughing at myself so much, which is nice. It's nice when you can laugh at yourself versus get frustrated. I will try to, I think I'll do a video on being frustrated. Again, cutting straight, not my thing. Also, perhaps it was crooked on the page, which I will definitely fix before I put it in the shop. Okay. All right. It's interesting with vellum, right? Because you can see through it. So I think I like that better. Okay. This is my glue page. So vellum, I think, kind of comes up easily. So you want to make sure you cover every piece. And I am using the Oohoo stick. All right. So, whoops, I put glue all the way to the top. Maybe I'll put that on another piece over here. Maybe we'll do a little collage, vellum collage over there on that one. Can you even see that? Oh goodness. Okay. So yes, this quote. So I decided to choose a word for this year, which I have done in other years. This year I just feel much more focused and ready to tackle some things. Past years, it has felt more just like kind of get through without much of a plan. And so I have decided to focus on the word perseverance. And not just because we're in the midst of a pandemic and some crazy election stuff happening, but because for me, it's hard for me to finish things. I get super excited about the start of a project, and then often don't follow through. And so I thought perseverance would be a good word to kind of just use as a way to remind myself to keep going. So I Googled quotes for perseverance, and this one came up, and I just really fell in love with it and just think it's such a great one. Start where you are. Such a good reminder. Okay. All right. I mean, and actually, you know, that's what the Swiss Family Robinson did. They were completely shipwrecked. They had stuff from the ship that would come in, but they built this massive tree house and, you know, just were super creative with what they had and lived this amazing life. It was I can't remember how many kids there were, but several, probably maybe, I feel like it was maybe 6. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and trim this part up. And you know, they were attacked by animals, I think. I don't think they ever ran into any other humans. And to be honest, I don't know if they ever got off. I can't remember that part. That was just not the point. But yes, they persevered. All right, I love that. That is my tag. And again, there's that quote. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And that's such a good junk journaling quote too, isn't it? Just use what you have, you know? That's kind of what I was wanting to highlight as well. I think I'm just going to trim off this edge. Just for any sort of crafting or doing anything, we often think we need so much, and all the supplies and the different glues and everything, and it's just, you know, start with what you have. Learn from that. So there we go. That is our first tag bookmark. Maybe now we can do one with this that's just more of this collage. Let's see. I'm gonna have to trim. Okay, so maybe I will trim it, make it narrower. So tell me in the comments below what your word is for this year or month or week, and why. I think it's good to kind of have something to focus on. I think it's good to maybe not necessarily have a goal, but just maybe a reminder of what we're wanting from our days. It's easy to get caught up in what's happening around us, and it's easy to get overwhelmed, and sometimes just having something to really maybe meditate on or focus on can help us stay calm, help us to feel, oops. See, I can't talk and do this at the same time. Like that's a whole other skill that hopefully I will develop. Okay, I'm gonna actually cut that off right now. So I can tell right away that a lot of my disorganization will make for some interesting videos, right? Like I just glued down. Now I have to cover that up with something so I don't get glue on my project on the wrong side. Oh my goodness, this is funny. Okay. All right, let's do, this is another piece. Maybe if I just glued some of these that I've cut. All right. So we're having some pretty typical winter weather here for the Pacific Northwest. Very rainy and very just blustery, I guess is a good word for it. Sometimes it's hard. It can feel really hard to cope with all the rain and the darkness, I think, because it can feel like it's like, I don't know, twilight, gray, overcast twilight, like all day long some days. And it's hard to just, it's hard to get outside. It's hard to do the things that can help you feel better. And so today is one of those days. Let's see. All right, let's see. I can make a fun background with some of this. You know, and I think when we let ourselves focus on the creative, do something like this can feel really mindful. It definitely helps if you don't glue down your oh goodness. This is sort of highlighting all the things that I struggle with, which is but I guess, I mean, maybe that's where I get discouraged, right? Is that I'm kind of like, you know, comparing myself, saying things like, this is what I'm not doing well. And perhaps that's just not all that helpful to me in my process and why I feel like I need perseverance. So I think that's one of the other things that I've been thinking about with this channel. I mean, I know I talked about crafting and the benefits of the therapeutic benefits of crafting, which I think is really important. But I think it also, as in anything that we do, can be something that we use to grow and learn from. And sometimes that can feel annoying, right? Like we just want to be focused on what we're doing, and that's important too. But I think it's good to use the things we have in our life to reflect, to think. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this one. Because the words aren't coming through as much, so I'm not sure if I want to cover it all the way up. It's good to be able to reflect on, you know, who we are and how we behave. This is a time actually in our nation, for those in the US and maybe in the world, for some good reflection. Who do you want to be in the world? How do we want to be with other people? Whoops, wrong side. I suppose that's okay. It's very faded that way, huh? Oh goodness, this is funny. Let's see here. What are the other pieces? I feel like, oh, here's a good one. And so as I've been kind of thinking about these videos and, you know, tried to do one yesterday, just really have a lot of respect for people that do this every day or every week. It is a pretty good skill to be able to talk and craft at the same time. Like, I was thinking of layering it up that way, but you can't really see those as well. So maybe putting her at the top. Yeah, I'm impressed. This is way harder than it looks. But it is fun, I think, in that it does feel like you are connecting with other people. Upside down. Yeah, I like that. Don't like it in the center. Okay, maybe right there. Yeah, and I can also see why, you know, doing this and then having a voiceover would also be a good way to do it. Okay. Let's see. Should I finish that one out with, let's put this one over here. Maybe this. All right. So the challenge that Roxy Creations did, Rachel at Roxy Creations, was 45 minutes. And I'm kind of thinking that I'm not going to quite manage 45 minutes. I wonder. Yeah, this is really cool. Like, I'm enjoying the process, but it is it is a lot harder than I thought about. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna quite do the full 45 minutes that Roxy Creations, her challenge was 45 minutes, I think. Well, and I will say, I don't quite know how challenges work. I've never done one before. I don't know if I get to just make up my own thing or if that invalidates it or what any of it means. So hers was 45 minutes book page tag. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do 45 minutes. I will. So yeah, maybe I'll go do some research. Oh man, if I do a little tag, it's going to cut off her head. I don't want to do that. Okay, so let's add some more at the top. Maybe this one. I think this one got covered up there. So there we go. Yeah, what else to say? I don't know. You guys are all so amazing that all you YouTube crafters. All right. I'm going to trim this down. I do like this edge. We'll do a tiny little tag. So whoever came up with this idea of how to get the tag corners to be equal is genius, because I would spend hours trying to even them out and then pretty much the whole tag would be gone by the time. All right, so that's my second book page tag, which I really like. And then here again is our first. I'm just going to end again on that quote. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, by Arthur Ashe. Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you everyone for crafting along with me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!